Mushu's Tale. It was a peaceful night in the Fa household. Mulan helped her grandmother with the dishes. When she'd finished cleaning, Mulan said goodnight to her family and headed to her room. She had promised Creaky a bedtime story. Mulan changed into her pajamas and then turned to her friend. "What story would you like to hear tonight, Creaky?" Before Creaky could answer, the dragon friend Mushu burst into the room. "Did I hear someone ask for a story?" Mulan nodded. "I was just asking Creaky what kind of story he wanted to hear." "Oh, I have the perfect story," Mushu said excitedly. "Can I tell it?" Mulan and Creaky both nodded. Mushu's stories were always entertaining. "Excellent," Mushu said. As Mulan snuggled into bed, Mushu jumped up on the windowsill. Creaky happily nestled on his shoulder. It was a dark, snowy evening. Mushu began. "Just like this one." Mulan was just getting into bed when she realized that Creaky's cage was empty. Mulan searched the whole house, but there was no sign of the little cricket. Holding her candle to the window, Mulan gasped. Barely visible in the rapidly falling snow was a trail of tiny footprints. "Hold on," Mulan said, interrupting Mushu's story. "Creaky is so tiny, how would he make tracks in the snow?" "Shh," Mushu said. "I am telling a story." Mulan nodded. Mushu was right. It was rude to interrupt. Mulan quickly threw on her coat and headed to the ancestors' temple to ask for my help. Mushu continued. "Of course, it didn't take much time to convince me. I would do anything for that lucky bug." "Unless he's already asleep," Mulan whispered to Creaky. "Trying to wake him up can take forever." "I'm going to pretend I didn't hear you," Mushu said. Anyway, together Mulan and I followed Creaky's trail deep into the woods. The snow continued to fall around us, so hard that we could barely see. We kept following the trail until I accidentally sneezed. Unfortunately, as I am a ferociously fierce fire-breathing dragon, I accidentally melted the snow. We had lost Creaky's trail. "Wait a second," Mulan said, interrupting Mushu's story again. "We wouldn't be able to see the rest of Creaky's trail. You wouldn't have melted all the tracks, right?" Mushu crossed his arms and narrowed his eyes to Mulan. "I was just getting to that part." "Sorry, Mushu," Mulan said. Just then, Mushu said, "I had a brilliant idea." I tilted my head back and let out a big burst of fire. The flames illuminated the path again, and Mulan was able to spot Creaky's trail. We kept following Creaky's trail all the way to a big pile of snow. Mushu said. But that's where the trail stopped. When Mulan and I called for Creaky, we heard a faint chirrup coming from underneath the mound of fallen snow. Mulan and I furiously began scraping away the snow. We dug faster and faster until Mushu's voice trailed up. Until what? Mulan cried. What happened next, Mushu? We uncovered a cave that had been hidden by the snow. Creaky and a little girl from the village were inside, Mushu said. They were both shivering uncontrollably. Mulan wrapped them in her coat while the little girl explained what happened. She had been collecting firewood when the snow started. She had stopped in the cave to rest for a minute, when suddenly a big pile of snow fell and blocked the entrance. Creaky had heard her cries for help. He was small enough to get inside and keep her company, but he couldn't get them both out. I lit a fire and we all warmed up before heading home. Everyone was safe and sound. And that's the story of how we found